Module 4, problem number 14. A golf association requires that golf balls have a diameter that is 1.68 inches. To determine if golf balls conform to the standard, a random sample of golf balls was selected. Their diameters are shown in the accompanying table below. Do the golf balls conform to the standards? Use the alpha equals 0.01 level of significance. First, determine the appropriate hypothesis. Well, as we talked about here, we always know that the null hypothesis is that it's equal. Now, to determine, are we looking at the mean or the proportion? Well, in this case, we're trying to look at the average size of these golf balls. So that would be the mean. So we've got the mean equal to, and we're trying to determine if they're equal to 1.68 or not. 1.68. So there, our null hypothesis, the mean is equal to 1.68. Our alternative hypothesis obviously is going to be the mean. It is going to be 1.68 here as well. But to determine what the comparison factor or comparison is here, we're going to look over here. It says to determine if the golf balls conform. They don't say if they're less than or greater than, it's conform. That means are they equal or not equal to that? So if they're less than 1.68 or greater than 1.68, that means that they're not conforming. So we're going to test to see if they are not equal to 1.68. Okay. Find the test statistic. Now you can do this manually by using the calculations either from my lesson or from the book, but I'm going to show you how to do it in StatCrunch. Once you've learned how to calculate the test statistic, it's much better to just use it StatCrunch, or if you feel more comfortable in Excel, that. There's a lot of room for error when you do manual calculations, and it's very simple to do it in StatCrunch. So we're going to open the data set, click on the link to open the data set in StatCrunch. So there's our data set. As you can see, it matches what was right there in the table. We're going to go to stat. Now remember, this is the mean. When you're dealing with the mean, you do t-stats. If we had the proportion, we would be looking at proportion stats. So t-stats, we have one sample with data, because here is our data set right here. So again, t-stats, one sample with data. We're going to select our column. As you can see right here, that's the name of the column for our data, our variable there. We're going to look down here to make sure that hypothesis test is checked. And now it knows that we're doing the mean because we're looking at t-stats. So here we have 1.68. Again, that's just from our null and alternative hypotheses over here. Again, here we would select not equal to, less than, or greater than. We are looking at not equal to from this problem. And then click compute. Very simple. All right, let's go ahead and make this window smaller so we can see both at the same time and close our data set. So the test statistic, that's right here. That's our t-stat, test statistic. So we're going to click right there. It says round in 2 decimals. That's 0.75. Check our answer. And then find the p-value. Again, what's great about this, I don't have to do 2 different calculations or go through all these different formulas. It's right here. It provides both in StatCrunch. So the p-value is right here at the next to that test statistic, and it's 0.47. See how we round up? Because it's 0.468, we round that up to 0.47. Check answer. Fantastic. So what can be concluded from the hypothesis test? Now, when given the choice, I almost always just look at p-value. To me, it's more intuitive. It's easier to look at. We have to just compare p-value to alpha. So here, if the p-value is less than alpha, we reject the null hypothesis. Here, our p-value is 0.47, which is clearly larger than our alpha of 0.01. So in this case, we do not reject the null hypothesis. So now we know we're down to just these 2 options, A and B. Do not reject the null hypothesis. Remember, when we do not reject the null hypothesis, we're not accepting it. We're saying there is not sufficient evidence to support the alternative. So just from reading these first 2 sentences, we have there is sufficient evidence or there is not sufficient evidence to conclude that the golf balls do not conform to the association standards at the alpha equals 0.01 level of significance. That right there is our answer. Check answer. Excellent. All right, that's number 14. If you have any questions, let me know.